Hello sim racers. Today we're going to be taking a look at, yes, you've read it correctly, the announcement for Assetto Corsa 2. The powerhouse simulator that is Assetto Corsa will be followed up by a sequel, and according to the information that we can find online, this will be coming at some point in 2024. Fingers crossed, because we know how things go to these days with delays, etc, etc. But let's take a quick look here online. We'll see the article comes from the 6axis.com, and it talks about Assetto Corsa 2 is scheduled for release in 2024, and apparently there's going to be a mobile version coming out this summer. So Digital Brothers, the parent company of 505, have announced that obviously because they're doing pretty well at the moment with Assetto Corsa, they intend to be releasing the sequel, which is great news for us as sim racers, because Assetto Corsa, which was originally released in 2014 and has more recently been followed up by Assetto Corsa Competizione, both of which have been absolute masterclasses in sim racing. So we're hopefully going to get what should be an updated and a much better version. So definitely looking forward to that. Apart from that, any further details are pretty sparse at the moment. Going forward, if we do find anything else out, we will be obviously trying to share that with you. And as we say, fingers crossed, the new one should be good. Right, so if that's what you came for, fine, be gone with you. If not, and you'd like to stick around to hear some of the things that we'd like to see included in Assetto Corsa 2, hang about. So first off, we'd like to see full menu controls from the wheel or controller. So whilst this was available on Assetto Corsa Competizione, this was not something that was available on the original Assetto Corsa, and I'm hoping that they do include this in the sequel. We're also hoping to see better controller support. The original was not something that supported controllers per se. You could make your controller work, but it wasn't something that really came natively with the software. We would like to be able to see some integration, so much in the same way how it would be in the Codemasters F1 series, or in, for example, Project Cars, or even, I think, even in Assetto Corsa Competizione itself, better controller support. I would like to see some mode specific rules. I mean things like for F1, for Rally, for Indy, I would like to see the game make adjustments to have rule sets that fit those different types of motorsport. I would also like to see better ease of access and an easier way to maybe use the UI of the overall software. That would be really cool. And for Kunos to continue allowing third-party integration, but to maybe make that easier. It would also be nice to see the people that make Content Manager, Content Shaders Patch, and also Sol with the weather configurations. It would be nice to see them work maybe more closely with Kunos to integrate some of that functionality into the sequel natively. That would be great. I would also like to see the return of mods. I think that would be absolutely fantastic if people could continue to mod, unlike in Assetto Corsa Competizione where that was completely restricted. If there is the possibility to have a livery creator functionality built within the software, that would be awesome to save people having to, for example, do things on Photoshop and try to find ways to import that in. So we've seen that way back in the day on things like Forza. On the original titles, you were able to build some fantastic liveries using the in-game livery creators. I would like to be able to see some functionality like that come over to Assetto Corsa 2. To be able to change driver outfits and helmets, that would be fantastic, because as you know, currently we're able to do a variety of different mods, and there are just different situations in which you may want to have your driver dressed differently, or you may want the driver to not necessarily be wearing a helmet. So for example, to be able to manipulate things like this easier without having to manipulate JSON files, etc, that would be great. Weather functionality coming as native with Assetto Corsa 2 would be absolutely great to see. Obviously we were able to get that with the Sol weather functionality that was added as a mod later on, but if that could come with the software, that would be brilliant. Once again, the ability to see telemetry on replays. So this is a thing that plagues both Assetto Corsa and Assetto Corsa Competizione, but the lack of the ability to see telemetry currently for recorded laps or for watching onboard laps, if they could find a way to rectify that, I think that would be absolutely awesome. Assetto Corsa 2, it would be great. if they could add the ability to race in a team, which is something that we've seen applied to Assetto Corsa Competizione. If we'd be able to do that in Assetto Corsa 2, that would be absolutely great. Another functionality that's really more to do with Assetto Corsa Competizione, but if we were able to carry the team thing over, it would be for your teammate to be able to update pit stop strategies whilst driving around. So for example, in endurance races, rather than the driver having to focus on making pit stop adjustments, this would be something that your teammate who is sitting idle in the pits would be able to do on the team's behalf to help to keep the driver focused on the most important thing that the driver is supposed to be doing. Next, I'd like to talk about the ability to create lobbies. Now, we've seen in things like Project Car Series, the F1 series, even Automobilista, the ease with which you can drag people into a lobby, invite your friends to join you in creating mayhem and racing around whatever circuit it is that you'd like to do. It would be nice to be able to get that ease of use and ease of functionality in Assetto Corsa 2 as a built-in from the get-go. The final thing I'd like to comment on is I hope that in Assetto Corsa 2 there is actually a better tire model, because since 2014 when the original came out, we've managed to see much progress in the second Assetto Corsa Competizione in the way in which they have a 5-point tire model for all of the cars in that, which gives a much better feel and a much better connection with the road. We also have other titles like R Factor 2, which does their sort of 2400 RPMs or whatever it is, where they just read crazy amounts of tire data to just keep you updated. So to find something that's a bit improved from the original Assetto Corsa, I think would be absolutely brilliant. But anyway, those are my thoughts on the matter. Please guys, feel free to share your comments and thoughts on what you would like to see in Assetto Corsa 2. Fingers crossed it's an absolutely bomb title when it arrives, and it does show up hopefully in 2024. Thanks, bye bye.